Hey, how you doing? Thanks for tuning in. I'm glad you're here. We're making it work. I'm Jimmy if you're new and you're wondering who's this guy walking around the dark shop. I'm here trying to get this place opened up. We're gonna try to fix some cars, get some people on the road, and make a living and take care of our family. Everybody wins. That's the plan. You gotta be patient. Let's head out this back door, see what kind of weather we got to start off the day. It was funny, yesterday with this van, I said, who wants to take a look at this van? Everyone just kind of walked away. I said, I guess I'll do it. 84 Jeep Cherokee, trying to find the correct clutch parts. Basically not available. 85 Eldorado, we got approval on all of that. We got to take the gas tank out and stuff. Waiting on a bunch of parts. So basically it's kind of sitting here in the way. And we're probably going to look at this one. I'm going to have to get permission to take the distributor out. I mentioned in yesterday's video, if you watched that, the cam sensor P0340 code, the distributor is what we would call it in the old days, but it's basically a cam sensor on that. It uses it to know when to time the fuel injectors. And they wear out, the shaft wears out, the gear on the bottom wears out, all kinds of stuff like that. And it causes erratic operation and cam timing codes. But the engine actually seems to run pretty good right now. So we got to do some investigative surgery on it. What else we got going on? Oh, I got approval on the alternator and battery on that Nissan Quest, I think it's called, from yesterday. So we got a few things going on. I'll put some clips in right here so you'll know exactly what we're going to be repairing today. We're going to show this thing some love. Body shop wheel alignment. Oh, got a nice sunrise, but boy is it muggy this morning. It's about 77, 78 degrees, 175% humidity it feels like. Something like that, I'm not sure. Let's get in the shop, finish getting this place open up, and do our best to learn a thing or two and have some fun. Stay tuned. Note your vehicle is designed to operate using two charge modes, full charge and efficiency mode. What could go wrong with a Mexican manufactured CarQuest alternator and something that's that technical? I don't think that'd be a big deal, really. It's still funny though. Let's go ahead and start on this here Nissan. We're gonna show this thing some love. That was easy. Uh-oh. Don't worry about any of that. We'll be all right. Now, we take our nut back off here that we just put on. At least I think I can. Maybe it's not loose enough yet for the magnet. It doesn't look like there's much room here. It comes out the right front wheel well, which luckily a lot of the splash shields are missing and stuff. I'll show you why we're replacing this. I'm not, you know, the IPDM and the ECM are involved in how this alternator charges, but since that connection was loose and it melted all of that, when I tightened it, the plastic exploded underneath it and all. And I was hoping it'd be okay, but we're replacing this as part of the diagnosis, believe it or not, and then we're going to see how it charges afterwards. And we'll go towards the IPDM or wiring issues once we fix all the melted stuff. Hopefully it'll be done after that. We won't know till we do it though. Get this out of the way so I can see them top bolts. That's what we're messing with now. I usually take that bracket off the motor and leave it on the alternator because the bolt's hidden by a rubber hose back here. And once I get everything unmounted from below, then that bracket, I can loosen it up and remove it, install a new alternator with that bracket loose, if that makes sense. That's how I remember doing it last time at least, so we'll see. I'll tell you one thing, it's a big giant van. This thing is pretty big, but there's no room to get another ½ inch in here so you can get your hands down there. It's one of those things, it looks like it's really hard. It's only a little hard. 12 millimeter and 14, 10 millimeter. It's basically all you need. Sockets, ratchets, wrenches, typical stuff, no specialty tools. The only thing that is a little unusual is a long 1/4 inch extension. Seems to make it easier to get that 12 for the main cable. There it is. This vehicle, apparently, the customer said it's been sitting a while since they had the alternator put in by a mobile mechanic, and it still wasn't charging, so they just let it sit. You can see it's been parked a while. But We're gonna get it figured out. The IPDMs go bad on these, but it's really rare for this problem. Someone knows it's blowing apart. We're gonna take out what's left of it. Probably not a good plan. This thing will blow back at high speeds and hit the tires and stuff. I would just leave it off or get a replacement piece from a salvage yard maybe, or I don't know. Come on, fancy tool, let's do this. There you go. It's a little windy with all the fans on in here, so I try to trap my plastic so it doesn't go for a journey and make a little nut dam. I'm gonna have to tragically destroy these tie wraps, and probably recommend leaving that thing off unless there's a better way to attach it. I save these pins and stuff from timing sets over the years for just such an occasion. I think this is a 13, maybe it's a 14. What do I have here? A 12. Nope. We'll try a 13. That's what I thought it was. Well, that's not good. This tensioner doesn't seem to be doing what it's supposed to. Tightens. Oh, there it goes. This thing is a tensioner too. That's not supposed to ratchet like that, and pop and bang. It's supposed to be just on a spring. I was gonna raise that up, put the pin in, but finding more problems instead. I got it loose enough to get this belt off, but that tensioner is no good. This car doesn't have a tag on it. It's been sitting a little while, and I'm starting to see why. Come on, man. Gotta lower the AC compressor, I'm guessing, because there's no way it's fitting out of here. So this is gonna have to come off too. You shouldn't have to discharge it, just loosen it and drop it down a few inches, hopefully. We'll see. 14. Ah, jeez Louise, man. Ah! Would they tighten that extra to make up for the leaving the alternator loose? I don't understand. What the heck? Like 25, 30 foot-pounds is plenty. Ah! Gotta take a couple of 10s out of here to get this coolant hose tube out of the way. 2 14s in the back of the compressor. And then it's kind of out of the way. Should fit, we'll see. Another 10 right here. Got 14, and it's a long bolt that comes out the back. It doesn't have a head on the other side, it just has this little arm. And I have seen these C's where it just bends that arm because the nut's kind of frozen on it, but I don't suspect we'll have a problem with that. This is not a northern vehicle. Let's take a little love tap, I'm guessing. Let's see what we got for love taps. There we go. They give you a lot of room. Hopefully your exhaust isn't hot if you're doing one of these. This exhaust isn't. It's been sitting overnight. I may need to jiggle it up a little bit and get that last 1/4 inch the threads are hanging up. Then I think we'll be trying to get this out of here. Or getting this out of here, I should say. Look at that son of a gun, huh? That can't do the job, nothing will. Nothing. Full pry bar mode from here. My calculations are correct. This will fit out by a whisker. Or maybe not even by that. I know it fits. If yours is really old, or the vehicle you're working on is really old, keep in mind some of these hoses may break and give you all kinds of other issues to deal with, but mechanics don't design this stuff, they just have to deal with it. And that's what we're doing right now. There it is. This is the stuff that was all melted and crumbling when I tightened it. It's a car quest, just like the one we're taking out. I mean, just like one we're putting in, both of those. Out with the car quest and in with the car quest. Listen here, man. Let's do this. I know what you're saying. There it is. That's all. You can't tighten this. I'm going to let it down and get that upper bolt in before I tighten anything. Yeah, if you're tricky, like I am, you can hold the alternator up with your third finger, your ring finger, and use your pointer and thumb to turn the bolt down. It's kind of odd that the bolt faces this way, but just another one of the many things not up to me, you know. Look at this thing. I got the old paper holding my nut in a socket trick going. I have magnetic sockets, but not swivels. And since the AC line's right over it, you gotta make it work. After you tighten the alternator, then you tighten the idler. And we do have a tensioner on the way, so we'll have to figure out how that comes out of there. I see the one bolt, obviously. There's probably another one on top. I'm guessing this idler's got to come off. Be patient. Comes out. Uh-oh. Oh, there's the other bolt. I can see the other one bolt under there. By the way, that was about 700 foot-pounds, give or take. So be prepared to have a long ratchet or something. Those look like 13s as well. It's hard to tell. There's a mix of 13s, 14s, 15s, 12s, 10s, 18s, 19s. I don't know. Some cars, they'll use like basically 3 sizes for the most part, and some, they just, whatever they got on the workbench is what they put in. Oh, sorry about that. I didn't mean to smack you in the forehead. Not bad. Can't fit any power tools up in this little top bolt, but I probably can for the bottom. This bolt wasn't nearly as tight as that idler bolt was. My gracious goodness. Let's see if the other one's mechanically easy. I don't want to smash my hands into stuff, so I'm just going to go like this. When I was a younger man, I'd just gone ahead and smashed my knuckles into it and seen what would happen. But I'm tired of cutting myself unnecessarily. I only cut myself when it's necessary. That doesn't sound right. I'm just saying be careful, that's all. Alright. It's not pinned open like I thought it might be. But once I bolt it up, I'll be able to do it myself. Because this one should work and not crunch when I try to move it. I hope. Maybe it's a Nissan design flaw. Very possible. Oh, different size on this one. That's a little better. Let's see here. What is the desired routing plan? I know that goes there. I know this goes here. I'm going to say, because of this, the belt has to go up to there. I didn't take note before I took it apart. Because the tensioner got me a little flustered, and I just rolled with it. Some of that. There you go. I think that's right. Take my pen out here. This is my miscellaneous drawer where I keep anything I don't have a designated place for. And I keep all my timing belt tensioner and serpentine belt tensioner pins and anything odd I might need. This little guy's not very useful. I kept it because it's cute. My crankshaft or flywheel holding tool. A couple miscellaneous things for the early truck brakes, heavy duty rear drum brakes. I don't know when I'll need that again, but I'm not going to throw it away. Belt wear tools. No one uses those. Seal removal. I'm going to do another toolbox tour. There's not a lot of stuff. Only a few updated items, but a few people keep asking me, so it's coming. No budget for a wheel liner. We'll just get it fastened better. Alright now. knew it fit in there if I try hard enough. And none of these hold downs were hooked into anything, but underneath this plastic clip is a hole. So that little rod goes in the hole and then gets snapped into the plastic retainer. And then over here it just goes down the slot and there's a hole under there. You see my socket? Can't find it. I know it's around here somewhere. I'll find it eventually. Sometimes the camera doesn't turn off even when you push the turn off button. I never did check the voltage on these batteries. I've been trying to check them every time, and sometimes I get in a rush. I'm not used to having to make sure the batteries were good that they send. But this one's 12.3, so it's discharged a little bit, but not bad. 12.6 is what they should be fully charged. Let's fire this thing up, see what we got. I'm not going to put that too far away. So far so good. Just don't count your hatches before they're chickens or something like that. See what it's doing in about 5 minutes. We got 14 volts still. We got alternator load 0%, duty cycle off. That's kind of strange. I'm gonna let it run a little longer, take it for a drive, I think. Make sure nothing weird's going on with it. A little nervous about a control not working correctly, because this thing turns the alternator on and off when it wants, based on loads and economy and all kinds of other, what do you want to call it, description of operation. So we're gonna mess with it a little bit, make sure we don't give it back to him and have his battery die. That's the goal. Charging good with the lights and everything on. I'm gonna go take it for a drive. I think this one will be good to go. I can't really drive it too far. That's right, it doesn't have a tag on it. All right, we'll just do some laps around the building. Body shop wheel alignment. Oh, that'll be fun. It's missing a little weight off the front end, but it's not that much weight, so it shouldn't be a big deal. I prefer to have the car whole, but I don't think it really matters. It's a 2016 with 81,000 miles. It's really hard to give a love rating to a body shop car, but it looks pretty clean inside. This is rock guard, discolored. That's kind of odd. All right, let's take a look, see what it looks like. I see a little toe in, a little negative camber here. Something happened. Front wheel drive except USA. Front wheel drive USA. I'm saying USA, I don't know. Uh-oh, 5 seats, 17, 18, or 19-inch wheel. Do they have a different suspension based on the wheel size? You would think it'd be the same. Maybe just they might have just slightly more or less camber for a larger wheel, something like that. 17 millimeter. No, it's inches actually. 17 millimeters, about that big. Should be able to roll this thing forward. We don't do the steering calibration and all for them when we do alignments, because we charge them half price, and they go through all the ADAS stuff that any car might have before they deliver it when it's all done. So that's why I just bypass that setting. If anyone's wondering, I heard the keyboard going, so. All right, let's roll it forward. It is very sad that I didn't put it in park. That's nowhere near as bad as I thought it was going to be. Works for me. A little bit of toe in the left front, we'll let her go. Nice. Oh, where's it jumping out? Oh, it's just barely on the edge of out of spec. It's got to get towed out a little bit. All right, I think it's a 7/8 on the jam nut, 22 millimeter, or and a 13 or so on the tie rod end. This is towed in a lot. Well, not a lot, but it's towed in. So that means the steering wheel had to be off to the left a little bit, because to get it to go straight, you're gonna have to go to about 0.08 and 0.08, and that requires moving the wheel to the left, right? And I have it locked straight right now, so I'm guessing they had some minor damage in the left front. Just tweaked her a little bit. That boot doesn't look too good. I didn't see any play in the front end. Sometimes I video that, sometimes I don't, but you do what's called a shakedown on the front end. Make sure there's no bad wheel bearings or tie rod ends or ball joints, because anything that can move lets the adjustment change, right? You can't do an accurate alignment. But I think we'll be good. Factory tight. This thing's probably never been aligned. I'm not sure what size this is going to be. 13 probably, since that's what I don't have in my hand. I bought a 12 and a 14. And that's how it's the law of averages. No worries. I have one on my little rolly cart right next to me. I'm going to want to go in so that I bring the back of the wheel in. And I'm going to go so it's about the same as the other side. Good. Didn't take much, maybe a half a turn, something like that. This changes because the vehicle rolled on the lift a little bit. No worries. Printer works well. It's just not very fast. This is like a typical printer you'd use at home. I really think there should be like a color laser printer on here, be like bzz, bzz, spits out pages like nothing. But we're pretty good. Why this isn't red like it was when we first got it done, I don't know. But in any event, the steer ahead shows you how the steering wheel was off. Now it's perfect. So we'll go through around in the parking lot, and you know what? Let's pull the steering wheel lock off and verify that it's still green with the wheel straight and the load off of the steering wheel lock. Alright, I'm good to go. Don't be jealous. I know you are. Don't be jealous. I mean, got a diamond shift knob. I'm guessing it's not real because someone smashed the window out and take it. I guess someone here did some work on this and didn't program the windows afterwards. If you disconnect the battery for a long period of time, I guess it loses window memory. In any event, he said it don't automatically go up anymore. So I printed this. Ensure the engine's running. Close the window fully. Release the switch. Lift to the closed position. Hold for 2 seconds. Release. And then repeat steps 3 and 4 2 more times. That tells me 3 times. So I hold this up 2 seconds. 1, 2, release. 1, 2, release. I'll do it a third time for fun. 1, 2, release. And we'll try auto down. And we'll try auto up. That one's done. Now we'll have to do this one. We'll go up. 1, 2, release. 1, 2, release. 1, 2, release. Now we'll go down. Up. 2 more windows and we'll be done. And the customer will be happy. Now that is an off-road capable beast right here. Uh-oh. It's also locked. Now it's unlocked. Got a coolant leak. 2001 Explorer Sport Trac. Is that odometer right? That can't be. 388,797 miles. Got a check engine light on. Got a coolant leak. And man, them tires ride rough. Like it's off-road, you know, it shouldn't matter. You're going to be in the dirt most of the time. The check engine light problem is secondary, in my opinion, to the coolant leak. So before we get it too hot, I'm going to put these windows down. This air is borderline. You can shove a piece of felt with adhesive sticky back on it, and you can just kind of shove it in there to stop those from doing that. Anywho, let's get under the hood, see what the coolant leak is first. Give it a love rating of 6, and see what we can get done in this thing. It's a classic. I think some parts are rolling in for the Cadillac too. We might be getting on that soon. All right, we have got us the venerable 4-liter. 388,000 on a 4-liter? It can't be the original engine. It's hard to tell. That's a lot of miles for one of these things. They don't hold up in timing chains too good. They're strong motors. They're good. They're good motors. They just the timing chains go bad. It's got a chain in the back for one cam and a chain in the front for the other cam, and they go bad. And you've got to take the engine out to do them. So anyway, someone has been working on it. I can see very recently. I smell the coolant. I can't see it yet. We're gonna look around, maybe drop some coolant in there and pressure test it if we have to, but I can smell it. So I think it's gonna be as simple as just adding some water, see where it comes out. Squeeze the upper hose, make sure there isn't pressure on it. It feels warm, but it's been out in the parking lot. Yeah, there's no pressure in that. The hose feels like mushy. Feels like mashed potatoes. Uh-oh. Looks like bars leak on the cap. Let's pour some water and see where it's leaking. These are really bad for coolant housings, which someone's already done. They also crack radiators and stuff like that. All right, let's get some water. It's taking too long to fill it. This thing is apparently empty. Uh-oh. I spotted something. Oh, that's not supposed to do that. Dang it. Dorman coolant housing let go. That's terrible news. We got the scanner shaking hands with the Sport Trac 2001 Explorer Sport Trac 4-liter single overhead cam monstrosity. The key's on. Now we know where the water is going, or coolant. It's got lots of oil leaks and stuff too. We can do the check engine light tango and see if it's temperature related codes like overheat protect or something. I'm not sure if 2001 had that, but we'll see. Health report. Give it to me. Made me think of Rick James. I'm not sure why, but we'll let this cook a minute and come back. Oh, two faults in the gem and 3 in the PCM. Uh-oh. Now the only codes in this old girl are interior courtesy light relay problem, a safety belt problem, or lamp circuit problem, and lean bank 1, lean bank 2. You know where those codes are from, right? Let's get a flashlight. Remember when I first was looking around under the hood for the coolant leak, I put this tube back in. So what happens is, for those who are mechanics or just starting out and might not know, this inlet hose, your magnet is so strong I can't even get near the fender within a ½ inch. It pops the camera down on the fender. Back to the subject at hand. Focus. This tube right here that I took out is part of the air inlet hose, right? And since this is a mass airflow system, what happens is it's using this sensor to read the air going in. So if air gets in here, because this hose is off, then this sensor doesn't see the air. So it's going in the engine unmetered or unmeasured, and the computer's going, hey, wait a second. Why are my oxygen sensors saying I'm lean and I got to add fuel? Something's wrong, and it sets a lean code, and it's for both banks. So if it's one bank, then I would look towards an injector or several injectors on that bank, a problem with a sensor or something along those lines. But when it's on both banks, then it's something they both have in common, like a leaking gasket at the throttle body, a big vacuum leak in the intake. This tube happened to be off, so we already know that, or something along those lines. Even a mass airflow sensor can cause an engine to run lean if it's not reading right. So in any event, we basically already fixed it, I'm pretty sure. I'm gonna recommend this piece of rubber. It's swollen and super soft because it's soaked in oil. So we'll see if that rubber elbow is available. Let them know about the coolant housing. I'm gonna recommend these hoses are ridiculously soft. I wish I could explain it to you how soft they are, but I'm gonna recommend at least the upper. The lower was replaced more recently, it looks like. And then there's a little hose that goes from the bypass to the water pump. So we'll recommend that as well while we're in there. And let's see what happens with this. I'm gonna clear the codes, let them know about that. Everything else looks pretty good. Actually, the truck, 388,000 miles. Built Ford tough. Report has been sent. Clear the DTCs. And then we'll revisit this one. Oh, 750 IL BMW. A real man's luxury car. Customer says it's ice cold on one side and hot on the other. We had these vents closed. To which I say, poppycock, sir. It's only got 73,000 miles on it. It's a 2006 BMW. Can't have a problem. All right, enough of the sarcasm, Jimmy. Maybe hot isn't the right word for it. There's definitely variation. It's 52, 51, 50, 49, 48, 47. Let's say 51, 40, 45. What the heck is going on in this thing? I can't understand what it's upset about. Things are going so well for us. We're all getting along so good. Oh, maybe that's what it is. It sees people walking around the shop. We're coming up on the end of the day, and it's been kind of an odd day. So I'm feeling kind of quirky. I apologize. It's at least in the low 50s, high 40s, it feels like to me. But on both sides, it does feel colder. It feels like it's maybe 5-6 degrees colder on the right. He said hot. If you watch a lot of my AC videos, generally if there's a variation left to right, it's low refrigerant because the evaporator's sideways. And for some odd reason, they'll pull air off the bottom of the evaporator for one side and the top of the evaporator off the other. And whichever one gets the top, when the refrigerant gets low, the top of the evaporator is not as cold as the bottom. Also, a possibility is, what is going on? That's like Chinese water torture. This is Farfignugan water torture. Oh, that's Volkswagen. Blend doors are a little door with a motor on it that controls the amount of warm air from the heater core and cold air from the evaporator. And literally what the word says, blend door, it blends the hot and cold air to get the temperature you select. So if you pick something in the middle, that blend door is going to be about in the middle and give you a little of dry, cool air, but not freezing cold. And if you want to be colder, the blend door seals off the heater core completely. Right now, 60 on both sides. Let's see what the steering wheel is in here. Let's see what his cup is. 80 degrees. The vent. It's going to keep dropping. All right. The customer's waiting and wants his 750i AC to be the same temperature on both sides ASAP before we close up. That's probably not going to happen, but my next thing is going to be to give it a love rating of 6. And oh, the seat lets go with you when you open the door. I'm going to give it a 6. I was thinking maybe 7, but I just decided 6. I don't know. Let's get the machine on it, see what the pressures look like. Maybe it's a little low on refrigerant and he's a very sensitive person, or there's something intermittent going on, because he literally had these closed like this when I got in the car. That's how he had it. Maybe he thinks that's why it's blowing hot. I don't know. You're honestly, in this business, you never know. It's got a camera facing me, camera facing rear, and a camera facing forward. That's got to be what's beeping. I don't know. That would annoy me. I would have to go into settings and disable wherever that beep is. That's annoying. Let's get out of here before something happens to it. I found the one fitting, and the other fitting is down there where the ABS motor and the coolant tank and the valve cover are, what's the word for it? blazing hot, I guess. I'm gonna shut it off. I'm really kind of doing this hoping that it's just low refrigerant, because if it's not, then it's some kind of intermittent problem with the blend door. And for anyone who hasn't worked on one of these before, the blend door is probably like 12 or 15 hours labor, or it's 0.2, one or the other. There's no in between with these cars, so I'm hoping it's just low on refrigerant. And finding a leak is not much easier because you can't see anything. So if it's a bad enough leak, I'd be able to see some dye somewhere, but it's all buried in plastic covers and stuff like that. Let's get some kind of thermal gloves, try to get that cap off of there without getting scorched, and roll the machine over here. Ooh, don't lean on the coolant tank either, by the way, or touch it to your forearm because the gloves aren't that long. Now, I'm not sure. I have to fit my hands in there and squeeze the collar on the bottom, push it down onto the fitting and fight against a little bit of spring tension. I'm not sure how I can do that. I kind of need two hands in there the way it's looking. I don't know. I kind of have to do this. There isn't enough room for my fist to be down in there. I basically have to fist the BMW. At least that's how it feels. I figured it out. I just got the jackass tool out, and I came over here and pulled the collar up with my tool while I pushed down on the fitting with my other hand. I had to put both of my gloves on. Franz, I love you guys. Now it's just a matter of screwing it down so it'll open the valve. Let's fire this thing up, see what kind of pressures we got. Now if it's low on refrigerant, that low side's going to be at like 28 psi and the high side will be at like 180 or 200. If it's not low, it'll be at 220 over like 35 or so. Let's see. This is one of those cars too. You got to push the key in the slot and push the button. You got two operations to get it running. Tell you what, the air feels pretty good to me. This is what has me nervous about an intermittent blend door issue, because people don't normally come in to have their AC checked because it's only blowing 48 degrees. But some people, I have had people say, "Hey, look at this." I have had people say, "I just want it checked because it's summertime's coming." I'm like, "Is it working good?" They're like, "Oh yeah, it works great." I said, "Then it's gonna check out good." But people don't know any better, so you know. And some shops will try to convince them, you know, come in and have stuff. It's like they do with your home AC. They tell you got to have maintenance every 6 months. I don't know, you know, they clean the evaporator a little bit, that kind of thing, I guess. Anyway, pressures are good. That's going to be a problem. So now I got to ask them how often it gets warm on the driver's side and see what happens from there. It's not low on refrigerant, not enough that half the evaporator would be blowing warmer than the other half. Well guys, BMW guy, he said, no, it intermittently blows hot out of the driver's side, but it doesn't do it all the time. I'm like, well, how often does it do it? Oh, just once in a while. So he came in at 4 o'clock in the afternoon to wait for it, for me to figure out why his 750i blows warm out of the driver's side intermittently. Supposedly he's going to come back tomorrow and wait for it because it's his only mode of transportation. I might say, well, you know, I've got all my parts for the Eldorado. I've got that Sport Trac estimate in. I've got the looking for the clutch for the Jeep. I have a part. We're trying to get approval on the van I have out there halfway. A little bit frustrated right now, if you can't tell. Because there's an efficient way to do things, and there's an inefficient way to do things. And whatever I say goes, that's the bottom line. So we may be messing with that some more tomorrow, I don't know. We'll see what happens. It's going to be interesting. Thanks for watching. Throw the like button before you head out. I hope you enjoyed it. I certainly enjoyed your company. You're awesome.